Hey, so today we're going to talk about good faith deposits and escrows. Okay, so a good faith deposit is also referred to as an escrow, but a good faith deposit is the money that you put down in order for the seller to recognize that you are serious about their house. And it goes into an escrow account. And the escrow account is usually held from one of the attorneys, either the buyer's attorney or the seller's attorney, or sometimes the title company will hold the escrow deposit. And why they're holding it is a big question for my buyers and my sellers sometimes. So the buyers want to know why they have to put money down. Well, the reason is the seller's about to take their house off the market, and that means they're not marketing it anymore, and they're giving you an opportunity to move through the process. And with that opportunity, they want insurance. So your insurance is that it's taken off the market and no one else is seeing it, and you have a contract that says that you're going to buy it. Their assurance is your escrow deposit. So the big question is, what happens if we don't buy this house? Can I get it back? Yes and no, depends. Depends on if you are meeting your contractual obligations. And two ways to get your money back, and there really are only two in the contract. After the attorney review period ends, you have two contingencies. One is your mortgage contingency. So that is you're applying for a mortgage, you're paying for the appraisal, and you're moving forward in that process. If you get denied in that process, you have the right to get your deposit back, no questions asked. The other is the home inspection phase. So there's a contingency for home inspections. Every contract in New Jersey says that this property is as is, but the buyers have the right to perform home inspections to determine if there are any major flaws. If they determine that there is a major flaw and the seller is not willing to remedy that flaw to the buyer's satisfaction, the buyer then also has the right to get their deposit back. You do not have the right to get your deposit back after you have completed both of those contingencies and then determined that the next door neighbor's house has come on the market, it's all silver, shiny, and beautiful, and you want that instead. You might lose your deposit then. You also might lose your deposit if you just changed your mind 3 weeks before closing. Things like this happen, believe me, I know. That's how you lose your deposit. You have to maintain your contractual obligations. And if you've done that, you will not lose your deposit. But the contract states that you will perform. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is how that impacts sellers. So when the sellers are looking at multiple offers as they are in this market, you may have a buyer that put $1,000, a buyer that put $5,000, you may have a buyer that put $10,000, and you may have a buyer that put $50,000 as their initial deposit. And the way that impacts the seller is, hey, I have a guy that's only willing to put $1,000 down for me to take my house off the market, stop marketing it, and stop looking for a better buyer. He's giving me $1,000. I don't know, even if he's 20% down and he's only putting $1,000 down, that raises my eyebrow. It makes me think, well, gee, is he invested in this house? Is she going to actually perform, or are they going to walk away from that $1,000? Now, the $5,000 buyer, the standard in New Jersey is either $10,000 or 5 or 10%. Okay, so it's a pretty big number. I know in other states it's significantly smaller, but in New Jersey, it's a decent amount of money. So I would say when I'm looking at contracts, the buyer that is only putting $1,000 down is my least favorite buyer, because I think they're really questioning whether or not they can want this house. The other thing is, the only reason that somebody only puts $1,000 down is because they haven't been fully educated. So is their realtor explaining to them what this means? If the realtor doesn't understand what it means that we're going to have a difficult transaction. Both of those things give me pause. I hope you found this information helpful. And if you did, please like my video and follow me. Thanks for watching.